Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
Hi, I'm George Luna.
I want to live the life of a hustler.
I'm Frank of the Dodger Melange.
And we are the Watchers in the Basement.
Frank, I would have bet a large amount of money that you're going to say Smiling Tiger, but
That's what I was waiting for.
Right.
I lost. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of the Watchers in the Basement. We are here today to talk about the third episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, an episode titled The Power Broker. And this episode, we're already at the halfway point of this show. And so
that's so crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's going by fast.
Yeah.
Just want to get y'all's overall thoughts so far. I mean, well, you know, we'll save that for later. Let's talk about just this episode. George, what'd you think of, like, in broad strokes, what'd you think about this episode?
I love the beginning of it. I like that the new Captain America got spit on. I think that was a highlight of the episode for me. Yeah, he did what I think everyone wanted to do to this guy. But yeah, it was a solid episode. I think it was great. Kind of upset that the Power Broker. It's titled The Power Broker, but we don't get to see who it is. And I guess we got two.
Or did we?
Two or three more episodes? Yeah. Okay. Did we? I don't know. I don't think it's. Who do you think it is?
So there's 3 more episodes left, George, to answer your first question about that. There's theories out there, of course, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about it, that the Power Broker, although in this episode he's referred to as he, him, etc., some people out there think that the pronouns are different. It could be she or her. We'll talk about that later on in this episode. So I agree with George. This was a great episode from start to finish. I mean, the story did progress greatly. Action. John Walker got spit on, like George said, fuck that guy. But it is what it is for him. I love seeing a different side of Zemo in a way. We got to know a lot more about him, and I'm very curious as to how his alliance with Bucky and Sam are gonna, go forth. Frank, what did you think?
Again, Marvel just keeps impressing me with this great story arc and this character development. I'm a slight bit concerned because, like, with only 3 episodes left, it's like, how you gonna explain the Power Broker storyline, Bucky's storyline of, like, him trying to get through what he's going through being an ex-Winter Soldier, and then Sam with the shield trying to get that back from John Walker. It's a lot left to unveil, so I'm hoping it's not rushed with only 3 episodes left. And the last episode was great. I love all the moving pieces. We finally got to see Madripoor come to light in the show, so I can't wait to see what's more to come out of it.
Yeah, it was an episode where we got a lot of characters. We got some familiar faces returning, some surprises. I wasn't expecting the character at the very end to show up. But the thing about this episode, after I watched it, like, there's so much fighting, a lot of action, and I was like, man, this kind of feels like a John Wick movie, because there's even a part where, where like these bounty hunters are coming after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I was like, man, that's such a John Wick thing. Well, it turns out the guy who wrote John Wick wrote this episode.
Yeah, I read that.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Yeah,
bravo.
So it's like. I was like, man, it felt like John. And then you see, like, okay, so Sharon Carter comes back. That was a big part of this episode. And Sharon Carter is a badass. She's like Black Widow times 10 or something. Like, just killing dude. No, she's way.
I think she's badass in her own right, as, a former SHIELD, agent, whatever, but I wouldn't put her on the same caliber as Black Widow.
She's way more violent, though. She straight up killed like 10 dudes. Like, just either triangle chokes or gunshots to the face, or stabbing them. Like, she was brutal. Yeah. And it kind of reminds me, Emily Van Camp plays Sharon Carter, and her first kind of big role was on this show Revenge. It was on ABC. And her character was very much like Sharon Carter in that show. Mm-hmm. She's basically a superhero. So if you ever want to check out Revenge, you'll like it if you like superhero stuff, because she's basically a superhero.
Yeah, my mom was super into that show, and when we started watching all the Marvel, Avengers, etc. She's like, oh, I've seen her before. She's in Revenge. She's brutal. And I'm like, okay. So yeah.
So George, what did you think about Sharon Carter?
Oh, she was a complete badass. Like you said, I was surprised to see this much like death and like actual people getting shot and all that stuff. Because usually we don't really see like stuff like that in these movies and shows and stuff. So I think it was pretty. It felt like it felt like a John Wick movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, the guy that wrote it, I think, it made it feel just like one of the movies. So
yeah.
I love that. But she's a badass. I don't know if she is the power broker because I don't think she is, because she was on the phone with someone like after they killed that scientist. She's like, we got a problem. Like someone fucked up. So I don't think she's the one running the shots. I think
it seems like, it seems like she works for the power broker. She definitely knows who the power broker is.
Exactly.
That was pretty clear. But I think the way she just kind of killed people kind of shows that maybe there's an evil side to her, because we don't see the Marvel heroes just murk people like that. You know what I mean? Like just gunshots to the face, like just brutal killings like it's nothing. So
exactly.
I wonder if Aunt Peggy was still around, what she'd have to say about this.
Yeah.
Damn.
So Frank, what did you think about the action from Sharon Carter?
I loved it. I think the action really, without diving too much into her story in episode 3, it really explains what she's went through the last 5 to 7 years since Civil War. Like, she's the enemy of the state, and she's a sworn, like, she can't come back to America. So with that being said, she's a target. And I think with once the bounty was set on Falcon and Winter Soldier, she's housing them and like protecting them. So she's gonna have to kill in order to protect them and herself. Like, Madripoor is a lawless island. Like, there's no laws in Madripoor. So it's kind of like, if you live there, you have to adapt to the lifestyle of that island. And if you don't, you die. So I think her story arc really explained just from the action what she's been through and what she had to adapt in order to survive.
Yeah. And you talk about Madripoor. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit, but how the characters got to Madripoor was because the Winter Soldier broke out Zemo from prison. So let's talk about Zemo. Like, he, another big character from the episode. He's made his Falcon and Winter Soldier debut. Brittany, you're celebrating. What did you think about the return of Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo?
Listen, I absolutely love Daniel Bruhl as an actor. I think he's multifaceted and he just delivers in whatever character he's in. I said it last week in our pod about he was going to at least attempt to say the words to reactivate the Winter Soldier, and he did. Sure. I'm very happy I called that one. But I really enjoyed the conversation between him and Bucky about there's super soldiers out there. Bucky's desperate enough to come to Zemo because obviously Zemo was so obsessed with Hydra, and then you kind of fast forward to a scene where Bucky and Sam are in a garage, which is almost like a callback to Sam and Cap when they first got Bucky in Civil War. So nice little Easter egg nods kind of there. But the fact that, can I run a hypothetical through you? Bucky says to Sam about, let's break Zemo out of here. And he goes into this whole, step by step. And as Bucky's explaining it, you actually see Zemo doing the exact thing that Bucky's describing, instigating a prisoner fight and all hell breaking loose, and Zemo's just like casually walking out of there. Again, Zemo, if you call back to Civil War, what little we did hear about him, he was in the Sokovian military, so he's very skilled. He's very intelligent, obviously, because he was able to track down Hydra personnel to ultimately deactivate the Winter Soldier program. So I'm so excited to see Zemo again, not only because it's Daniel Bruhl, but just what's going to happen between these two different types of heroes, if you will, because we see that Zemo is reading a Machiavelli book, and the ideology behind how the world should be, and he's a very big believer. He has a code, as Bucky says. So I think, right now things will work out okay between Sam, Bucky, and Zemo, but I think it's going to go sideways probably in the next episode or so.
Yeah. And something about this that I was surprised by. We saw Zemo, we saw him with the purple mask.
Mhm.
I was expecting that, but I didn't know that Zemo was rich.
Mhm.
Like Zemo's like Bruce Wayne rich over in from Sokovia, like
Yeah.
that's his superpower. And he's also just like Sharon Carter, he's like, I guess like everybody, if you're on a Marvel movie, MMA or something. Like you're just like that's a requirement to be on the set.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to see him take part in the battle.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the interactions between Bucky, Sam, and Zemo, like whether it be on the plane, after fighting through these like ship containers or whatever. Like it's weird to me, like, or it's not weird, but it's just like they had a really great kind of like buddy cop chemistry. You know what I mean? Like he was talking about Marvin Gaye music and fashion and stuff like that. It's just I was surprised at how funny they made that character, because obviously, in Civil War he's not funny at all. He's actually very
Mhm.
successful at what his plan was. And then to me, it's like they've almost made a character where, I mean, I agree with you, Brittany. I think down the road he's definitely, maybe the next episode he might turn against him. But
Mhm.
it seems like he's like part of the Avengers crew. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, did you
Even
what you think
even-
about that, George? Go ahead, Brittany. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, even from the get-go, when he walked into the garage and Sam and Bucky were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's like, if I may, and they both tell him, shut up, like don't start. It's like, apologies, just yeah. That from the get-go was like, oh, he's gonna be funny. George, go ahead.
No, he I think he was played a great role in this episode. It definitely comic relief in some instances. But I think he is going to betray them, Jay, to your point. And then we don't know what's his motive is or why he killed that one doctor, Dr. Nagel or whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
But he killed him for a reason. And we still aren't really sure why. But I'm pretty sure we're going to find out very soon. But he's definitely going to betray them somehow.
Yeah, and we learned in this episode that Dr. Nagel was the only other doctor to successfully basically replicate the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
And we learned that he created 20 vials and that Carly Morgenthau and the Flag Smasher stole them. So I think at some point they mentioned that I think that like there's like 12 vials left or 8. There was some kind of 12-8 math in there. I don't know if y'all heard that, but it seems like they were saying that like, maybe they had 12 people that have taken them, so there's 8 left. Or
so they could have been in the lab and they could have stole it.
No, I mean, like she had already stolen the
No,
serum.
I mean like before they exploded it, because they zoomed in on a vial on one of the shots. There was a whole thing.
They did. I don't know who grabbed that. Frank, go ahead.
We don't know.
I think Baron, and this is a stretch, but I think Baron stole maybe 1 or 2 of those vials, and I think he's gonna use that as a trading chip to either John Walker or somebody else to create havoc. Because make no mistakes, even though this is a temporary alliance between Zemo and Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's dropping like little jabs here and there about how he hates the Avengers and how there's even a scene where while they get on the plane, Falcon and Winter Soldier and his butler is like he says in Sokovian, like, make sure that the food doesn't pass the smell test or whatever. Like he basically gives them like bad smelling food.
Yeah.
He mentions how his friends destroyed Sokovia. Like there's still bad blood there. Between the Avengers and Baron. I feel like he's gonna cause more havoc before it's all said and done.
Yo, where the fuck did he get that gun from though? Because he was like walking around like he knew where everything was, and he found a gun under the desk. Like, how did he know to look there?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like it's just one of those things that, like, if you're doing something that you know is off the books, or it's illegal, or it's something really shady, I mean, you're gonna do whatever it takes to protect, your work and yourself. So I just, I don't know, it sounds pretty standard, maybe, that, no different when you go into a pawn shop, or hell, when Cap first walked into that antique store, so that he could receive the super soldier serum, there was, like, a gun underneath the desk where that old lady stood. So I mean, I don't know, I think it's just like a simple practice.
The fact that he was already snooping around and looking at stuff makes me believe that he probably did steal a couple of those vials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
that
too.
makes sense. So do y'all think there's more than 20 vials left in the world, or because that seemed like a low number to me?
Yeah, it is. I don't know why they'd only make that many. If it was, maybe it was too difficult or something, but I don't know. Maybe he was lying.
I think he was. I mean, given the fact that, like, he mentions the American test subject, which he's talking about Isaiah Bradley.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, given Isaiah's, like, stage in life, that the blood sample was taken 30 years ago or more. Maybe not, but that's what it seems like to me. It seems like he's been living in Baltimore for a long time,
Yeah.
free of Hydra or the government or whatever. So I do wonder, like, I can't imagine this guy, if he's able to replicate the super soldier serum, that they wouldn't, like, train 10 more people to do the same thing, and that way they can always continue with this.
But you bring up a good point,
product.
Jay, that because it was 30 years ago, maybe they only had like a finite amount of his blood, and then that's the only reason they could make so little.
That's very good. Yeah, that's probably it. Honestly, that's probably the reason.
So
And,
they could,
and not just that. I mean, from what we've gathered throughout the MCU, especially in the TV shows to the movies, there's only been one other successful guy, is Erskine. So think about all the different sciences that SHIELD / Hydra / other entities have tried to replicate it, and they just couldn't do it. So to try to train somebody to do it it's probably going to be highly unlikely, because you're going to need a big brain to be able to not only try to get it done, or make sure that's successful. Because even in Hurricane Hulk, in Incredible Hulk, when they gave old buddy the vial, the serum, it was mutated. And so just think about all the different types of mutations all the previous scientists have had with the serum, and to have only 2 scientists in the last 80 years to get this down and get this done right, that shows you the degree of difficulty in like executing this serum.
Well, not only that, I mean, Dr. Nagel had said that his serum wasn't going to, jack up your body, or, create like these, really extravagant type of skill sets. It was going to be subtle. It was going to be, I guess.
Well, I think he meant it would be undetectable. Like, you could give it like the Flag Smashers, for the most part, are kind of normal looking people, even though they have super strength. They're not jacked up, metal armed people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that was, I'm sure, to even just to get that, concoction, just so that way you're not, getting ripped and, whatever.
Boo.
So
why do you want it if you can't get ripped?
Yeah,
listen,
exactly.
I just got my first dose for the COVID vaccine, and I was like, super soldier serum? They're like, nah. I'm like, fuck.
That wouldn't be free.
I got some people's asses I need to kick, so
So I want to go back to Madripoor real quick before we proceed. So there are a lot of Easter eggs in this Madripoor scene. So when you walk in, there's a sign. I think it's the Easter. No, the princess something. And in Madripoor in the comic books, that was owned by Patch and Tiger, and Patch is the alias for Wolverine. Now Wolverine is very, very popular in Madripoor. Like he did a lot of business in Madripoor. He was like an assassin in Madripoor and in the low area of Madripoor. But one thing I want to bring up, which I think we could get a Wolverine sighting, if not in this series, somewhere soon. So Wolverine met his first wife, Itsu, in Japan. and she was pregnant with Wolverine's first child, Dakin, which is he's similar to Wolverine in the comic books. Guess who killed Wolverine's pregnant wife in the comic books?
The Winter Soldier?
Exactly.
Oh,
The
wow.
Winter Soldier killed his pregnant wife in order to try to return him back to Madripoor. So I don't know if that's a sign of like Wolverine sighting pretty soon, but that'd
be crazy.
Yeah, that's very coincidental and poignant to like have Madripoor have the emblem of the bar that Wolverine co-owned, and then on the same city, and because Winter Soldier and Wolverine have a deep history in the comic books together. So, and it'll be great if we see a Logan or it's still on that list in that red book that Winter Soldier have. I'm gonna flip my shit because that would be so dope to introduce him somehow in that form of fashion.
And you're right, because the fact that Disney now owns 20th Century Fox, now they can really widen their world, to incorporate that of X-Men and this really is a really good first attempt, because we kind of felt we were getting it with WandaVision, with the
surprises and stuff.
Surprises of their Quicksilver, from X-Men. Right. We thought, okay, so I think Marvel is just really planting those seeds of we're eventually going to get more, and by more I mean X-Men. So that's gonna be pretty cool.
I'm not even getting my hopes up, dude. I don't think that's gonna happen not in this series.
Not in this series. No, I think down the line, like
yeah.
Either other series or in.
I think it's just because it showed Madripoor for the first time on like the TV screen that that's the only reason they dropped that Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the shows, like Frank said, I think planting the seeds is like that's kind of what these shows are for the big overarching things. But I do want to point out that remember this show is supposed to be the first show that was going to be released. Now because of COVID and the pandemic, like it didn't happen. So
right.
In my mind, like, hey, if you're going to start off something new with these Marvel Studios TV shows, if you're going to do something big, you're probably going to do it in the first one so you can hook people and, like make them go, oh, wow, I have to have Disney Plus now forever because I love this content. They're going to give me more of it. So, I'm not getting my hopes up either because obviously in WandaVision, we theorized like crazy and we had Magneto and Mephisto, who I still don't really know who that is. And like, all these crazy characters from the comic books that they didn't show up, so
that's okay. There's more content coming our way.
There's a lot of content. But Frank, I was going to ask you a little bit more about Madripoor. So what else can you tell us about this fictitious island in Indonesia?
Yeah, so it's basically like the show said last week, it was basically founded by pirates in the 1800s, and it's a lawless island. It's just there's no rules. A lot of mercenaries go through there. In one of the 80s issues, the X-Men were thought to be dead, so Wolverine left America to go to Madripoor to kind of like find himself and during that time, you see a lot of heroes and mercenaries go through there. Captain America had a run-in with Crossbones in Madripoor as well. So there are a lot of different characters who came through there. Wolverine's son Dakin took over Madripoor for a little bit as well, doing the Dark Avengers issues. So a lot of these characters are X-Men based characters. So if they're gonna find a way to bring them in, then that would be a great way of bringing them in, either through that or say there's a multiverse clash in Doctor Strange 2 to where a lot of these characters start showing up in Madripoor. But it was basically a battleground for a lot of violence, a lot of mercenaries come through to get their jobs and to find themselves at the same time too.
Yeah, and
plot twist.
What's that? Go ahead.
Plot twist. What if one of the X-Men is the power broker?
That would be dope. That would be dope. No, that's very possible because it seems like the power broker's name reigns through Madripoor.
Yeah.
in high city and low city. So that will be, what if it's Wolverine? We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a X-Men character or somebody from the Fox properties, which I think will be a great way to merge a lot of these different heroes. And
Yeah.
we still don't know what happened after Endgame with the Infinity Stones being bringing brought in and taken back. You kind of see some highlights in the Loki trailer about how they want to fit a lot of the timelines. You never know. Like, there could be multiple timelines out there, multiple multiverses out there due to either Loki with the Tesseract or Captain America putting back the stones in the right places after Endgame. So we just gotta wait and see.
Yeah, we do.
Good point.
George, do you have any thoughts on who you think the power broker might be?
I don't, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up and say it's one of the like X-Men universe or whatever. But I have no idea. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I know the power broker is a character from the comics, but I'm not familiar. I mean, obviously, I think that person is just known for that. So, I think it would be cool for them to put a character that we know as that character, but I think they'll probably stick closer to the comics. That's just my guess.
I think so.
I liked Frank's theory about, General Ross, kind of.
Oh yeah, do you still believe that, Frank?
Yeah, I do,
Like,
because
okay.
even when, what's the scientist's name? Nagel, is that his name?
Yeah.
Nagel. Yeah.
Yeah, he even said himself when he explained to those guys that, hey, I work close with the CIA. It's like, why would he say that? Like, why would he lie about that? I feel like somebody in the CIA, and General Ross is what? Is he the defense secretary at this point? Well, during Civil War, I think he was defense secretary, I believe. But I believe it's something we've seen before in the MCU that's running the scenes. And even in Black Widow, we see him, General Ross. I think it's a CGI, a de-aged version of him, and Black Widow as well. I feel like he's a part of this because he's had a run-in with a version of the super soldier serum before, even though it was a very messed up version of it that mutated one of his soldiers into a abomination.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he has something to do with it. I really do.
So I also want to throw this out here because of the CIA affiliation. Sharon Carter, after she, SHIELD went to go work for the CIA. We saw that at the end of, I believe, Captain America Winter Soldier, right? And I believe that, funny enough, another Ross, Agent Ross, played by Martin Freeman, does he too not work for the CIA? Think about it. I'm pretty sure he's affiliated.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So, was he aware of, what was going on, and the theory, I understand the theory of people believing that Sharon Carter could be the power broker, if not like working for the power broker, because again, you just said it about the CIA. She's obviously been on the run for, many years. Who knows how long she's actually been in Madripoor. But she's done well for herself. She's living the life of a hustler and, doing what she's got to do to survive. And she has a lot of animosity towards like the Avenger, maybe not the Avengers directly, but just believing in the whole hero. And, she said it, the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah. She said she's like, the superhero thing's bullshit. You all know that, or you should know that. I thought that was pretty interesting how she's definitely, I mean, she looks like, well, they turned their back on me. And so,
I love how Falcon basically tried to convince her that they would pardon him. They fucking pardoned this guy. And
right.
Yeah.
It's like, you should be fine.
No.
But Zemo said something too. Zemo said something as well that was true, that kind of coincided with what Sharon was saying about heroes, especially American super soldiers. He said that when Americans really put people on pedestals, especially super enhanced people, we kind of forget their flaws, and their flaws can sometimes be their downfall. And talk about Captain America, and that kind of goes back to the whole hypocrisy thing about how we condemn regular people, but like guys that we idolize, the Avengers, super soldiers, who do good, we kind of like ignore their flaws and how their flaws could be to their detriment.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like Zemo because as complex as he is, he's not entirely wrong when it comes to the cult hero of the American superhero. So I mean, and you know, if you lost your family and your country, not just your family, your country, because of a global spat with superheroes and villains, you're gonna be feeling salty too.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Zemo for feeling the way he's feeling. So
Yeah.
I just want to say that Zemo was badass when they had that party and he was dancing in the club.
Yep.
Yo, they can party it up in Madripoor. I'm like,
Well, he
how
could.
can I
Yeah,
get there?
He could party it up.
You know, speaking of Zemo, the title of this episode was called The Power Broker. It was really a missed opportunity. It could have been called Finding Zemo. Just saying.
Oh,
We found
That's
Zemo very
good.
quickly in the episode.
Yeah.
I had to make a joke. It's been a while.
are you trying to meet a
Like-
quota per episode?
Yeah, I have a quota. I have a joke
Okay.
quota. Yeah.
Okay.
Every 8 minutes, I have to make a joke.
Did anyone else think it was like super easy for him to break out of jail?
It was way too easy.
Way
Like,
too easy.
Why did it take him this long to do it? If that's all you had to do.
I don't know.
You know, so quickly going back to that, you know, when he showed Bucky the book that he's reading, the Machiavelli book, and he opened, you know, to I guess where he was. I don't know if there was like a little card or a little
Yeah,
like
it looked
bookmark
like-
type thing. I was
yeah.
like, what the hell is that? You know, that wasn't the same thing that Bucky passed on to one of the prisoners that said, you know, he will kill you tonight, referring to the prisoner across from
Yeah.
him. I'm like, what is that? What is there? Is that?
I think it's an access badge.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like an access badge to get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like it was, that scene was led to believe that Bucky put it there. That's why Bucky asked him what he was reading to give him
Yeah.
a clue to open the book
Yeah.
without surveillance, you know, showing that he was giving him a clue.
That's smart. How the fuck
That's
did he give him the book though?
Exactly.
He's an operative. Like he's been around 90 years. Like I'm sure he has his ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but yeah, it for sure was way too easy. It's like everything was just like working like clockwork, you know, and it's like, who really came up with this plan? Was it Bucky? Has he been planning this, you know, for,
It had to be, right? Like,
or
'cause
was it Zemo? And it's like, hey, do this, and then I'll take care of
I
everything
don't think
else.
so. Because Zemo, like, he had so many. Imagine during the blip, like, I'm sure a lot of those guards died. That would have been a perfect time to try and escape.
But we don't know if Zemo was in the
Excellent
blip or
point.
not.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he could. Yeah, we don't know.
I think I don't think he was, because I think he would have mentioned it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been a huge part. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the doctor mentioned that. Dr. Nagel, he mentioned that he was blipped, or, you know, he said,
Turn
you
to
know,
dust.
I was working on this till Turn to Dust 5 years ago, or for 5
Okay.
years or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. That's a really interesting point. Yeah. You think that the blip would be a perfect time for
Exactly.
anarchy to rule. Yeah. So,
Damn you, Thanos.
what did y'all think about? I thought this was a pretty interesting exchange in the show. Sam's talking about the shield. And he's saying, like, you know, instead of giving it back, what I should have done, I should have just destroyed it. And then Bucky kind of says, you know, that shield, that means a lot to me, means a lot to a lot of people. He's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shield from Walker myself. What do y'all see happening with the shield? I mean, I think eventually Sam's going to get it back, but do we see Sam and Bucky face off for the shield? Does Winter Soldier not survive? Does Walker kill him? I mean, like, there's a lot of things that could happen with that, I think. I think that's meant to be like a big thing that's coming.
So
Yeah, that's a good question. I do believe in some form or fashion, Winter Soldier gets it off of John Walker, and I think result of John Walker being overpowered, he probably cuts a deal with somebody to get the super soldier serum to level the playing field. That's why I think, because we do see in the trailer eventually, Falcon does get the shield back, and I think there's going to be repercussions for that.
yeah, I agree. I think that because Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, but at some point both Bucky and Sam become Captain America. So I think I think if they were able to acquire the shield again, I think it's maybe more of like a shared mantle, maybe not actual like one person's defined as Captain America, but like what the shield represents, because there's this constant theme about icons and symbols and things like that, and just how much they mean to people. And obviously for Bucky, rightfully so, you know, you're talking about Steve Rogers, his best friend long before he became Captain America, and you know how that symbol of the shield, you know, carried throughout the years. And obviously for Sam, you know, he became, you know, Cap's, you know, right hand man, if you will, in later years. So I think I want to say it's going to be more of a shared type of, you know, mantle.
So
I
you
don't
think
know.
it's gonna be co-Captain America?
Co-Captain America.
Has it already been 8 minutes? Damn.
No, I had to bump it up a few minutes.
There you go.
George, what do you think about that? What do you think was going to happen with Sam and Bucky and the Shield?
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna share it. I mean, I feel like he gave it to Sam for a reason, man. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll come to that realization of like, okay, this is what I should be doing. Like, I can do this. Like, I don't know. He's gonna come to some type of realization, and I don't know what's gonna happen with Bucky. Will he die? Who knows?
I hope not. Good Lord, I hope not. I do have a question though. How would one destroy vibranium? Has that ever been discussed? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, Thanos has torn up the Shield a couple times. Yeah,
he literally hit the shit out of it and just cut in half.
Yeah, but Thanos doesn't exist anymore.
No, that's true. That's true.
So
it will have to be some it will have to be some element that's not on the periodic table. That's some out of space that can destroy vibranium. That's nothing on that. Nothing in the Marvel MCU on that planet can destroy vibranium. It has to be an outer space element.
You know, speaking of vibranium, that's a perfect segue to the end of the episode where we get a member of Wakanda. Ao is there, and she meets up with the Winter Soldier, and she's looking for Zemo because Zemo's free. Because as we saw in Captain America Civil War, Zemo basically is the one who killed King T'Chaka. So I'll ask for y'all's reaction, but I just want to say first off, I was like pretty stunned that they were bringing in Black Panther characters into this show. What y'all think? I'll go Brittany first. What do you think, Brittany?
Oh, I wasn't surprised at all. Just because think of the previous episode with the, you know, oh, you spend your time in Wakanda and you're the whatever joke was
White Wolf or White Panther.
White Wolf, White Panther. It's like actually it's White Wolf, and it's like, huh? So that to me kind of was like, okay, are they going to incorporate more of Wakanda? You know, that kind of thing. And then obviously seeing the Komoyo beads, you know, randomly throughout the street. Excuse me. And somehow Bucky either, you know, he can just see them clearly or hear them clearly. I have no idea how he's able to, you know, identify them, because hell, I wouldn't have been able to. But that in itself was just like a really cool way to bring in, you know, Wakanda. So I'm so excited how they're going to incorporate say her name one more time for me. Ao. And because she's like someone you don't want to fuck with. I mean, even in Civil War, when they were taking T'Challa out from, you know, the imprisonment, and Romanoff is in front of the car, and Ao comes up to her, she's like, move, and it's like, ooh, like they're gonna fight. So to me it was really cool. I'm excited to see what happens. George.
So I thought it was badass that we get to see someone from the Black Panther universe from Wakanda. And so I'm pretty sure they're pissed that Zemo is out, and Bucky's probably gonna have to explain to himself, since he has some type of connection with them, like why the fuck he did that. Because I mean, as we know, like in the Black Panther movie, they went after that dude that what was his name, Frank? The
Claw.
Claw. They try to catch that motherfucker for that. So of course they're gonna go after someone who killed King T'Chaka. So hopefully they're understanding. And
The Wakandans send their regards. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll see what they say. But Frank, what did you think? I know you were excited.
I was, you know what? I was talking to my cousin about this in episode 2 when they showed the end of Zemo. You know, the last image of him before the episode ended, and I was telling my cousin like, watch Okoye show up. I was thinking Okoye, so I was in the realm. So when she showed up, I was like, okay, I can dig it. She's a badass too. I mean, the chickens have come home to roost. You gotta explain breaking out a guy who killed the king of a country. You can't. And I'm surprised Bucky didn't think about this. You spent time in Wakanda, whether it was in suspension, under ice, a hyperbaric sleep. You know that what this guy did to that country. So you have to explain that. So I cannot wait to see what he's going to say and how the country of Wakanda is going to respond to. You can, in theory, Bucky's betrayal.
They're gonna take his arm back, bro.
See, what Bucky needs to do, because obviously the Wakandans, they create vibranium. So he's like, hey, you make me a shield and I'll give you Zemo. It's just a trade.
There you go. That's easy.
It's the barter economy. I mean, it's Madripoor too. Like, I mean, I'm sure like it's how business is done. You know what I mean? Like,
so I'm very curious as to how they would have found out where to even find Bucky. Because the fact that they're traveling all over, Eastern and Central Europe, and Wakanda is obviously on a different continent. The fact that, they're at the right place, right time kind of thing. It's like, who's keeping them informed? How are they, it's like the whole vision thing again, how the fuck are they tracking someone?
There has to be a GPS tracker on that fucking arm, dude.
Exactly. Well, but then I started thinking about it. So when they're in, I guess it's the Brass Monkey bar or the Princess bar earlier, and Zemo tells Winter Soldier to attack, that everyone's just like whipped out their phones and taking video pictures, whatever. And I'm thinking, and when I saw that, I'm like, oh no, because my first thing was, he's just been pardoned and he can't be doing like illegal things or hurting people as part of his pardon. So I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be some repercussions for Bucky, like when and if he comes back. So then I thought maybe that's how the Wakandans found out. But I think you're right, George. I like the whole, they've got GPS on his fucking arm.
It's like, I mean, and plus they're like so advanced as civilization. Of course, they can find anyone in the world that fucking wanted to.
Yeah, like
that's true.
Like literally in the beginning of Black Panther, I think it took place a couple weeks after T'Chaka died.
Yeah.
Like T'Challa is sitting there and like watching 80 different screens of things that's going on around the world.
Exactly.
Right to his father's funeral. I'm like, dude, Wakanda is no game.
Yeah.
So they probably got satellites on top of satellites on top of satellites. And like I said, America wanted some of the technology because it was so far advanced than the rest of the world. So,
but my last question about this part of the show is, do y'all think they will reference Black Panther at all?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I wonder, because a lot of this show was shot before the pandemic. So I wonder if they had to change certain things because of
They did.
Chadwick's death. Yeah.
Oh, not because of that, but they changed stuff because of the
pandemic.
You can tell they did voiceovers over. Like there was a certain scene where we go and see that girl's grandma or whoever the fuck that was.
Okay.
There's a voice talking in the background saying like to go over and she can come in or whatever. And apparently I watched a video and it said that it's a voiceover because they had to redo all the stuff. And when she was wearing a hoodie, it's because her hair is different than what was in the show. And then one of the scenes. So, and then the other scene where Dr. Nagel's talking, as soon as he's talking, it cuts to another angle and you can't see him talk. So it's voiced over.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff in that they had to reshoot. And I don't understand why they didn't just let it happen, because
they want to be insensitive to what's going on in the pandemic, because
it would have made more sense though.
Because even with the vaccines that Carly and the super soldiers, the Flash Marchers took, they never really referenced it again after episode 2.
Yeah.
Because of what's going on with COVID. So they kind of
that would have made it so much more realistic.
It would have, but I think Disney just wants to avoid any type of any type of drama with what's going on in the real world. people losing their lives over there, over COVID. So
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I get it, trying to be safe.
I do want to quickly just, and Justin, I don't know if this was part of your script, but the fact that John Walker having, at the very end of the episode, having gone to the prison where Zemo was being held in Germany, and basically, it's going to be off the books. They're going to go and pin everything on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, having broken Zemo out. And he's like, if we're doing the thing, like, they're not going to ask how, we came to this conclusion. Like, so they're going to be dirty, obviously. So,
but you know what though, I see a potential clash between Battlestar and John, because right when that happened, Battlestar was like, we're not going to talk to Langley about this. Like, he still wants to be by the book, and
Right.
John is kind of gone off the rails a little bit, and I can see that he's hesitating. I mean, in the Friends, I could see him going rogue and trying to go back and help Falcon and Winter Soldier after seeing John go off the rails a little bit.
Well, and even too, like at the beginning, when the new Captain America and Battlestar show up to the civilian hideout for Carly in the previous episode, after the dude spits on John Walker and he gets all mad real quick, like, do you know who I am? It's like, I'm like, okay, Joffrey, calm down, like, this is calm the fuck down. The real Captain America wouldn't have done this. So yeah, I do agree that obviously it goes without saying John Walker is just not the person to be Captain America, but I do see where you're coming from about the clash between one wanting to do it by the book and then one wanting to do the job and do it by whatever means necessary. So it's going to be interesting.
And here's my thing. I know it might be minor to a lot of people, but if you're supposed to be taking up the manner of Captain America, you're not bilingual or trilingual. You can't speak anything else but English. Like, he had to call Battlestar to come speak German to this guy. Like,
right.
I'm just saying, man, Captain America he knew a lot of languages outside of English, and for you to carry the mantle and only speak one language, that kind of shows your lack of versatility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell, Zemo could even be Captain America. He knows a lot of languages.
And got bread. He could be Captain America and Tony Stark.
He could fund the Avengers Initiative.
All right.
Oh, here's another thing. Zemo does create a super team called the Thunderbolts as well. So during Civil War. So I don't know. There was a name.
Is that after Thunderbolt Ross?
Yes, it is.
But isn't Ross like the leader, or he's a founder or something? Like,
he's a founder, but he funds
it. Okay.
Yeah, he funds them. So that it's too many like Thunderbolt Ross type of like things going on. And it's serious for me not to think he's not behind the scenes, moving, moving the panels and stuff on here. So.
I like that theory more and more that we talk about this. I really do like the theory that General Ross is probably going to be behind this some fashion.
I think it's either him or Ross from Friends. One of the two. I think you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. So, do y'all have any other thoughts on the episode before we move on?
Just a great episode. I mean, this episode, I think it gets better with each episode. I definitely do feel that it progresses extremely well and it leaves you wanting more.
Is each episode, like, after this, is it going to be longer, Justin? Or like kind of like WandaVision was starting to get longer?
I don't know, because besides the last WandaVision episode, I think they were all kind of about the same. And this show's been the same. I think the first two were like 45, 47 minutes. The last episode was like 52 or 53. But that's counting, the 7 or 8 minute credits. So I don't know. I imagine they're probably going to be between 45 minutes and an hour, the rest of them.
I need Sam Wilson to step his game up. If you're going to be this covert guy, put your fucking phone on silent, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing, dog?
What an idiot.
Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, seriously, like you're in a lawless island where they kill people for fun. You got your phone on vibrate? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Hey.
That was very stupid.
I gave him credit for checking a shot that had God knows
snake guts
snake
in it.
insides. Oh God.
Snake juice. You ever see Parks and Rec? Any of you?
Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah.
You seen that they have a drink called snake juice?
Oh yeah.
God. No.
That's what he had, some snake juice.
That looked brutal.
Yeah.
And also the smiling tiger thing. Like, Frank, did you know anything about that reference to that character? Because they didn't really say a whole lot about it. So
he's a mercenary in Madripoor, but I don't remember exactly who he is or what he did. I should look that up. But yeah, he was a mercenary back in the day in Madripoor. But I don't remember too much more.
yeah.
He's a fashion-forward gentleman who Americans perceive to be a pimp. So bad.
And another famous battle that took place in Madripoor was Wolverine and Silver Samurai. He was a Madripoor character that did a lot of killing, and Wolverine Patch had to stop him, aka Wolverine. So yeah, a lot of famous characters that come through Madripoor.
Okay.
So I guess that wraps up our talk about the episode. We'll be back next week to talk about episode 4. But before we leave, we've got trailers to talk about. This week was like Trailer Park City. There were so many trailers that came out. In the past, I don't know what, like 10 days or maybe a week, there's been 2 of the Suicide Squad trailers. There was a Black Widow trailer, a Loki trailer, and a Space Jam: The New Legacy trailer. So let's talk about these. What did y'all think about the Suicide Squad trailers? There was a red band one, which is, the uncensored one. And there was one that was cut for like TV.
I didn't see the red band one.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
That was the first one that came out.
Yeah. It had like 1 million views the first like few hours. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to care about these characters. I really am trying. I don't care. I don't care. And I know James Gunn is making it more racy and more spunky and more violent,
entertaining also. Yeah.
More entertaining. It's just that, man, the first one was so bad. It's just like I don't know if I can forgive the first one for me to watch the second one, even though it's a new director. I know Idris Elba's in it. Is he playing Deadshot or he's playing a whole different character?
No, it's Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. I might have to like pull a George and wait for you guys to like really like give it a yay or nay for me to really like watch it.
Okay. The one good thing, it's going to be on Disney. It's going to be on HBO Max in August. So it's going to be one of those like it's going to be in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. So
okay, that's good because I don't know if I'd pay to go to watch that at the movies. But it looks funny. Like I don't know. It seems like more like a comedy than like a action. I don't know. I need to watch the Red Band trailer, I guess. But also, who is that shark guy? Because it reminds me of that cartoon I used to watch as a kid with the fucking sharks. The cartoon one. Yeah, I know y'all remember what it's called.
I remember it.
The character's name is King Shark, and he's voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
No way.
But it's like a I Am Groot kind of character where he only says, he has a basic vocabulary.
He only sings Baby Shark.
Right.
And why does he have a dad bod in the trailer? He's like ripped in the comic books. Why does he have a dad bod in the trailer?
I thought he was pretty big in the trailer. I didn't notice the dad.
Yeah, he looks so like kind of out of shape. He's hunky, but like
talking about dad bods are hot these days.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
Especially shark dad bods.
Well, you find out Brittany has fetishes out here in these streets, man.
No, that's
you have a shark fetish?
A shark fetish.
Yes, the fins.
Oh man.
The character is he's in the animated series, the Harley Quinn series, which is, very much a racy animated series with cussing and all kinds of stuff and extreme violence.
Love that series.
I've watched a few episodes. I'm going to finish it eventually, but it's really funny too. So, Brittany, what are your thoughts about the Suicide Squad?
Couldn't care less.
Okay.
Of course.
Very succinct. I can see the movie reviews right now. Like when they're showing the trailer, they're like, Brittany Pacheco says, couldn't care less. It's like Peter Travers, Rolling Stone, a 2-hour thrill ride. Brittany Pacheco couldn't care less.
That's
It's just,
funny.
I don't know.
Not impressed.
Not
Well, it's like the trailer. The trailer kind of shows that it's following the same like blueprint from the first one. Like these
Yeah.
guys, these bad guys are going on this
Yeah.
mission. They don't comply.
But-
They exposed a thing in their brain gonna go off. It's like, all right, man, I get it. I saw it the first time. You can't make a different
Yeah.
storyline for this.
But I mean,
Also saying,
that's the Suicide Squad, though, right? That's their whole. They're bad people who are forced to do good whenever there's no good guys that can help. You know, that's kind of the idea of the.
So why the
group.
need to basically redo this movie? I mean, I understood the whole Justice League because of the Snyder cut. I understand that. You know, he was slated, he was working on it, and then,
Right.
you know, tragedy happened in his family. He couldn't continue. I get that. Okay. So we got the cut that we should have gotten to begin with. Why do we need to redo a movie that was already bad?
So it's not per se a redo. It's kind
It's
of a
basically a redo.
well, they added the to the title. It's the Suicide
my
Squad.
God.
So it's completely
So that makes
different.
all the difference in the world. Got
Completely
it.
different.
Okay.
No, it's kind of it's a sequel, but it's a sequel that's meant to make people want to see more about the Suicide Squad because
Not
the first-
successful
Yeah,
campaign.
exactly.
Not.
no, I mean the first one made a lot of money, but like it was critically panned, and I mean it's an awful movie. It's an unwatchable movie. I think this one, by bringing James Gunn in, it's like you're making it, you know, funny. You're making it more entertaining. There's going to be, you know, obviously we see King Shark, he eats a guy or bites a guy's head off in the Red Band trailer.
Are
you
they
know,
gonna have a
John's-
Jaws theme?
Man,
Dun, 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 dun,
Probably not, but who knows? You got John Cena in there doing jokes. He plays like I mean, he even said a douchey Captain America as Peacemaker or Peacekeeper. It's either Peacekeeper or Peacemaker, one of the two. But he's going to have his own show on HBO Max
Oh,
based on
God,
that character.
why? No one's gonna
Really?
see him. Jeez. Sorry.
That was a scene joke. I got
But
you. I don't know. I'm into it. I think it looks fun. I think it's going to be entertaining. I mean, if it were in the like if it were only in the theaters, maybe I'd go see it. But I like the fact that it's not. I like the fact that it's on HBO Max. I'm definitely going to watch it the day it comes out, and I'm looking forward to it. So
Oh goodness.
anyway, let's move on. What did y'all think about the new Black Widow trailer? I'll go to Frank
I'm
first.
excited.
No, that was dope. That was dope. I kind of like how they tied all the Avengers movies and trailers into this movie as if this is the end. They made it seem like everything was coming to a head, and this is going to be the beginning of the end for the character, which I really, really liked.
Mhm.
I only saw the trailer once. I saw it during the basketball game last week, but from what I've seen, it just makes me want to watch the movie even more. Like I want to see how these characters play a part in the MCU, and I know one of those characters is going to be in the Hawkeye series. I'm not sure which one. It might be Black Widow's sister. I'm not sure.
I think she's going to be the future Black Widow. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
The actress's name is Florence Pugh. She's the blonde girl in the trailer. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I do want to see her story arc, and I do want to see. I know this takes place after Civil War and before Infinity War, so I want to see if there's going to be a Omega Red cameo in this. I know Taskmaster is the main villain, but there's so many in Black Widow's origin. There's so many different moving parts to her origin story, and I want to see which part they take from the comic books, because Wolverine trained her in the comic books. Like she's a super soldier in the comic book, so I want to see where her training comes from, even though it's the origin movie. So I'm really interested to see which route they take.
Mm-hmm.
George, what do you think?
I haven't seen the trailer.
You watched the trailer for Black Widow?
No, I saw
Oh,
the first one. I haven't seen the new one.
Mm.
I'll go watch it right now. I'll watch that one in this.
You should watch it for the music alone. The music throughout the trailer is so epic. Like the way they
It is.
it's like a slower down version of the Avengers theme, and it's
Nice.
kind of meant to like.
But it's got
Like-
vocals. It's
Yeah,
got
but
like a choir behind it.
But
It's
like
good.
Frank, like Frank said, like it shows kind of her story as a character. It even shows where she's like dangling from the hand of Hawkeye in an Endgame. So it's pretty. I thought
Mhm.
it was awesome, honestly.
All right.
Brittany, what about you?
I've been saying it for the longest. My girl needed to have her solo movie. It's finally going to happen. I bought a shirt for this, and I will not wear it until I watch the movie. I probably will pay the premium just to, watch it ahead of time. Yeah, no, the trailer was great. I love the fact, like you were saying, Justin, the tie-ins between like the different, movies, the past movies that Black Widow has been a part of, and you have her voiceover talking about, gaining this family. And then we're going back to, presumably her family in this movie. And I'm very curious just to find out, are we going to find out what fucking happened in Budapest?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that they were actually filming in Budapest or something like that. So I was like, yay, we're gonna find out. So I don't know.
Or they were in Atlanta like all the other movies, and they just made it like
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, good. Don't get me started on that one. Anyway, but no, I'm very much looking forward to this movie. Scarlett Johansson has played Black Widow for I say umpteen years, but it really hasn't been. She needs her solo movie. Come on, let's do it. I'm like you said, the music was just phenomenal. I mean, I'm a sucker for any good score, and they did it very, very well for this trailer. George, you have to go check it out.
Watch it right now after this.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of another good one, the Loki trailer dropped, and I gotta say, it's the most movie looking show I've ever seen. And I mean, all the other Disney Plus shows look like movie, well, not the Mandalorian, but the two Marvel shows do look like a movie quality.
Mm-hmm.
And this looked like an amazing movie with a big star like Tom Hiddleston playing a character that he like has mastered.
Mm-hmm.
George, what'd you think about the
I did watch this one. This one I did watch, and you're right, Jay. It does look like a movie. Like, I don't want to say it kind of like it shits on these shows, but that trailer like shit on a lot of these like shows out here. Like, I don't know. It was like another level to the Winter Soldier and all the WandaVision. It looked crazy. And you have Owen Wilson in it. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
So I don't know. It looks badass. The fact that they're gonna do the timeline thing and how they show that little chart and it splits off.
Yep.
They got to go. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yes.
Yep. Frank, what about you?
Oh man, I'm excited as hell. Like, there was a scene where Owen Wilson's character is showing Loki all the different like timelines being all fucked up and stuff, and I'm seeing, I'm like, oh snap, X-Men, Fantastic Four. I'm just like thinking all the possibilities, seeing that clip, because like that wasn't in the previous trailers, that scene. So, and like the odd couple vibe between Owen Wilson and Loki and Tom Hiddleston, like it's funny. Like, there was a scene where he's like, you can trust me. He's like, and then Owen was like, literally, you said that 50,000 times in your life, and every single time you've screwed the person over. He's like, no, but you can be trusted this time around.
I'll never do it again.
Yeah, I'll never do it again. Like, it's just like, I can't wait to see the odd couple vibe between those two characters, man. Like, it's Owen Wilson was born to play these type of roles, so I can't wait to see what transpires and how this plays out in the MCU as far as bringing in different characters and different timelines all together.
Multiverse. Listen, it's the multiverse. We're gonna get into it. It's gonna be fantastic. One scene that from the trailer that I thought was really interesting was Loki somehow is dropped into like this little office, and this dude has like a pile of paper, and he says, I need you to sign that you've said all these things in the last however many years. And Loki says, that's absurd. And then like you see the printer, and printer doing its thing, and the guy like puts a new piece of paper on top, and okay, I'm like, wow, like to have that kind of job for eternity, presumably, that fucking sucks.
So here's my question: the TVA, the Time Variance Alliance, or whatever they're called. You've seen all these not global threats, but universal threats, like Thanos, like all these other villains. And you just sitting there and just letting this shit just happen. Like, I'm so confused by this. Like Thanos literally played with time in Endgame.
Exactly.
And like you didn't pull Thanos, you didn't snatch him out of the middle of his fight and talk to him and like sat him down and punished him for it.
I thought the exact same thing, Frank. Like,
Right?
I was like, where the fuck have y'all been?
They got a lot of explaining to do, bro.
Endgame by itself was such a clusterfuck of just like alternate realities and all that shit. So what were they doing?
Endgame, Ant-Man, it goes on and on. All these movies play with time and multiverse. Doctor Strange, like the TVA didn't show up that one time.
I didn't even know they existed.
I didn't either. I never heard of these.
What about in the comics?
Yeah, they're in the comics, but I never heard of them. I never read up on them. That might be a Nathan question.
Okay.
Well, maybe like in the MCU, they were created because of what happened in Endgame. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it was.
Then that would make sense if
because
it happened afterwards.
They went back in time to 2012 to the first Avengers movie, and that's where Loki escaped because the Loki in the actual MCU timeline obviously died in Infinity War. So
right.
I bet they're going to explain that because of what happened, with the Tesseract in Endgame. That's how we got here. So,
but to ultimately find out Loki's role in fixing all these timelines, I mean, you're messing with the god of mischief. I mean, it's not going to go in your favor. I'm almost 1,000% positive.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait till the show comes out. Like, why would he help them? Like, there has to be something in it for him, right? Like, they'll do something for him?
He's the one who used the Tesseract to escape imprisonment. So.
Oh, clearly that didn't work.
I'd say probably free Disney Plus for life. That's probably
yes
what they're offering.
Yes.
So quick question, everybody. Does Loki, yes or no, does Loki show up in Thor: Love and Thunder in a couple of years?
I don't see why not. Maybe.
I hope so.
Sure. I hope so.
I hope so. But there's been because they're filming that movie right now. And there's been a lot of reports about people who are there, like even surprised people who are there. And he has not been one of the people mentioned. Now, maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll do something with him different, like remotely, or I don't know. But
now I read something that there was a John Krasinski sighting as Doctor Strange is filming of Doctor Strange 2.
That could make sense. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Because there's talk that Russell Crowe's gonna be in Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
As like a surprise character.
I also saw something about Scarlett Johansson voicing a character in Thor 3. So, which is going to be interesting. I mean, you're going to bring back someone who, as a previous character, died. How are you going to? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I have a question: is the Loki show going to be the last show of the year on Disney Plus, or what other shows are this year?
No, you still got Miss Marvel and Hawkeye that comes out this year as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I think What If is somewhere down the line. I don't know if it's this year, but honestly, I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
So what's Miss Marvel? Who?
Kamala Khan. She's the first Middle Eastern superhero that's been casted to play a hero in MCU. So she holds the mantle of Miss Marvel as well. She was created maybe 8-9 years ago.
Well, what do you mean? Like any relation to Captain Marvel or anything, or?
Well, not as far as direct relation, but she does have the mantle of Miss Marvel, in the show. So she's part of the Young Avengers. So a lot of these shows this year have already kind of shown hints of Young Avengers. You had Isaiah Bradley's Eli Bradley, and you had Speed and Wiccan and WandaVision. I think they're showing these little nuggets to create a Young Avengers movie somewhere down the line. And Miss Marvel, that Kamala Khan Miss Marvel is on the Young Avengers. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming from Marvel this year. Okay, the final trailer. It's Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, I gotta say, this is not a movie I would pay to see, but once again, it's an HBO Max movie that'll be out in July. You know what? I'm not the biggest LeBron guy, but I liked the trailer. I thought it was interesting.
Which I'm surprised by that. I think you would hate it because
I liked it. What y'all think about it? Brittany, did you see it?
No.
Okay. So
No, I.
once again, like your quote of the trailer will be like, no.
You saw it?
I saw it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's not going to be as good as the original one, but I'll watch it. Like, it's just like a part of my childhood. So yes, I'll watch it.
I will say it is. I think LeBron's a better actor than Michael Jordan. So
Probably.
I think he has a shot. Now, as far as the story, I am intrigued with some of the characters. I know Don Cheadle's in it, and he's playing the guy
he plays the bad guy.
He plays the bad guy. So I'm pretty excited to see Don Cheadle.
Seeing a digital Don Cheadle. That's pretty cool.
No, I mean,
so who's in it? Klay Thompson's in it. Right?
You know, they didn't really show the other NBA players besides LeBron.
Yeah, they didn't show it. I
think they did. Well, Klay Thompson is one of and I think Damian Lillard is the gold guy that was doing the dribbling and shit.
You know, all the Goon Squad guys, they don't look like their NBA counterparts. I mean, you're right. There are NBA players who are going to be in this movie, but the trailer does not in any way go, "Oh, this is Anthony Davis," or "This is Damian Lillard."
They don't do that.
Yeah. Whereas, like, yeah, like in the original one, you knew that was Patrick Ewing, that's Charles Barkley, that's Sean Bradley, and Muggsy Bogues, and so yeah, I like the trailer. It looks like, I mean, it's a crazy story because like LeBron, him and his son get like lost in the Matrix basically, and in the trailer, did y'all notice this? How he flies through Westeros? Like
I saw that.
He flies through the opening of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did.
There's all these like Warner Brothers properties, like, I mean, like, King Kong. It's almost like, and I haven't seen this movie, but I've seen the trailer, Ready Player One. Have y'all seen Ready Player One?
Yeah. That's
what
it seems like.
It's almost similar to that. Like LeBron's like in this world where there's all these characters, like King Kong's in there, and the Flintstones are there, and all these like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and Bugs Bunny, of course, and I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then there's a part where, and this is definitely I appreciate LeBron for like taking a dig at himself, because they show him he's trying to recruit a team to beat the Goon Squad. He has to beat the Goon Squad to get his kid back from this Matrix, right? And it shows like his like draft board, and he has like Superman #1. He has Gandalf on there. Like, he has the most powerful characters in the Warner Brothers universe. And it's just kind of funny because obviously LeBron's known for building super teams so that he can
does he have Harry Potter? Does he have Harry Potter on the list?
He doesn't have Harry Potter. He has like Iron Giant, Superman, Gandalf. There's like one other. There's 4 names on the chart. So
disappointed. Now I really won't watch this movie.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. So
I'm watching any HBO Max like direct to like the movie ones. I watch Godzilla, dude. Like,
oh, we're about to talk about that.
I said I wasn't gonna do it. I watched it. I wasn't mad at it. Like, it's a terrible. It was bad, but I like the action. I like the fighting scenes. I don't know. I like the fight scenes, dude.
So George, spoiler alert: who wins the fight between those two?
I don't know, because like, honestly.
We all lose, honestly.
Everyone lost. We lose our time. But so here's what happens.
I didn't watch it.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying we would. Okay. So Kong and Godzilla fight, right? Godzilla beats the shit out of Kong. And then Godzilla gets beat up by Mecha Godzilla, which is the fucking the metal Godzilla. It's a fucking robot. Godzilla gets a shit beat out of him. And then Kong has to come help him and beat the shit out of the other one. So it makes no sense. So it's a tie? I don't know.
You're also not mentioning the fact that in the middle of the movie, they travel to Hollow Earth, which is like another Earth.
I didn't want to mention that.
Another Earth within our Earth, where the humans, to travel there, they're in spaceships. Like, the second I saw spaceships, I'm like, I'm done.
Fucking stupid.
Like, this is
all that was very dumb.
I'm not kidding, y'all. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like,
Justin, it wasn't as bad as the other ones. That's the craziest thing for me.
No, I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I've never there are a few movies I've hated more watching, and it's way up there. Like, I did not.
One of them being Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
to which Justin said
it was better. I never saw
it. It was better.
And I hate that movie. I hate that movie with every,
fiber of your being.
Fiber of my body. But the thing about the Godzilla movie, it's so dumb. Like, it's so to me, like, okay, I like the monsters. Like, like, okay, the people are so annoying,
Yes.
and you just got to get rid of the people. Like
Yes.
everybody
They
knows
just
they're
fought,
annoying.
that'd be great.
Yeah, just like get rid of them.
But I guess my thing is what I don't understand is that why do you keep making these Godzilla King Kong movies if they're so terrible? Like from what I've read,
This
been
one
what,
made money though. This one made a lot of money.
oh did this
Yes.
made money? It
Yeah.
really did?
Yeah, really. I'm not kidding. It did. Yeah. People are
Wow.
watching it and it made money in theaters. So
I think it surpassed.
So you're
Wonder Woman
risking
84.
catching COVID for watching this damn movie?
Damn, that's worse than the Rangers game, dude.
Right?
no, the Rangers game was far worse.
That one's pretty bad.
You're not going to a theater with like 40,000 people there.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, the theaters are have a capacity limit. I will say this though, nobody is worth seeing in the theaters. The action in that movie is dope.
Nobody.
And
Yeah.
it was literally like me and like 3 other people in the movie theater
Oh, yeah.
that Thursday afternoon. It's really worth seeing.
I'm gonna wait till that comes out onto Amazon. or
Paul
something.
kicks ass in that movie, man. He really does.
That looks
Yeah,
badass.
I do want to check out that movie. I just won't go to a theater for it.
But you know, like what George said, the action in Godzilla and Kong, like the actual fighting is pretty cool. I'll
That's
give
it.
him that.
Everything
it
else
is,
is.
but
duh.
everything else is so bad. And like to me, it's like whenever you have these larger than life, massive monsters, that's all you need. You don't need to like fly spaceships into like hollow Earth. Like that was just such like a crazy like. It reminded me of I don't know if y'all saw the last Jurassic Park movie. It's like Lost World 2
Yes.
or Lost
Yes, I
Kingdom.
saw
or-
that.
Yes.
I mean, that movie is
Fallen
just so,
Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. Okay, whatever. Terrible.
Sorry.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that movie, they're like, so they clone. So now, like, there's a dinosaur kid, a person who's also a dinosaur. Like, you know,
Spoiler in case anyone
like,
hasn't
spoiler, but
watched
like,
it yet.
I'm saving you time. So actually,
I was confused on that. So she was made of the
Dinosaur
girl that
DNA.
died, the girl
Yeah.
that died back in the day, and
Right.
they combined with dinosaur DNA as well.
They
Yes,
cloned
bro.
her into like a
Yes.
dinosaur person. Yeah.
Okay.
Rar.
That went over my head. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
She like walks
You
around.
know, while I was watching these movies, I was thinking, I was like, man, what's the worst franchise? Like, and I was like, you know, Transformers is pretty bad. Although there's 6 movies, 2 of them are actually okay.
There's 6 movies.
There's 6 movies, yeah, 6
Yeah,
Transformers.
because Mark Wahlberg was in 2 of them.
He's in 2, and those are 2 of the worst.
And
Yeah.
And then you have, like,
John Cena was in
Bumblebee or
1,
something.
And then Shia LaBeouf was in what, 3 of them?
3
3 of
2?
them,
Three or- yeah.
He was in the
Three.
first 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Shia LaBeouf 3, Wahlberg 2, and then Bumblebee is the other one.
Honestly, I love the first one. I thought it was.
I do
good.
too. The first
I
one's
like
good,
the first one.
and
Yeah.
Bumblebee is good also.
Yeah.
That's a
I haven't
separate.
seen Bumblebee.
I kind of like all 3. I like all the LaBeouf
The
movies.
first 3, okay.
Yeah.
LaBeouf.
But I think that's a bad franchise. Jurassic Park is pretty bad outside of
Mm.
Jurassic Park. Outside the first one, the rest of those movies are not great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's up there.
And then,
This is probably number 1, dude, of the worst
Yeah,
ones for sure.
I mean, I like Kong Skull Island, but the other 3 movies to me are terrible. Like, I'll never watch these movies ever again. There's no
See,
way.
I had no idea that. So is Kong a spinoff from Godzilla? Is he a spinoff from that series?
Well, I mean, it's all called like the Monster Verse, and so like there was a Godzilla movie first,
The Monster
The
Verse.
Monster.
and then the sequel was a Kong movie, and then the third movie was Godzilla fighting like all the other monsters.
That one was fucking awful, dude. Oh my
That's that one was pretty bad.
That's
holy
the King
shit.
of the Monsters movie. Is that what
Yeah,
that's-
King of the Monsters, and then it led up to this where it's Godzilla versus Kong.
So who's the bad guy between Kong and Godzilla?
The director.
That's
god.
the director.
Yeah.
He's the enemy of the people. No,
That's
it's
pretty good, Brittany. That was pretty good.
it's one of those movies where, I mean, I knew going in, like, there's not going to be a decisive winner between Godzilla or Kong. It's like
Yeah.
Batman, Superman. Like, they're not going to, like, they're going to fight, but in the end, they're going to have to fight something else because you can't
Mhm.
have Batman kill Superman or Superman kill Batman.
And from my understanding, that this movie that just premiered leaves it open for a sequel.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So I mean, the story is
Yeah.
like never ending, much like the Fast
But
and
why are
Furious
they
movies.
why are they
so.
fighting? There's more enough Earth.
Because there can only be one.
Yeah, supposedly
That's really
there's
what it
supposed to be-
is.
exactly. There's only supposed to be like one alpha. Like, which one is stronger? Like, one of them's supposed to be the alpha. That's it. That's the whole point.
But the problem with the movie is they're both protectors of the world. But then like Godzilla starts destroying the world because apparently he knows that like another Godzilla is being created
The mechanical
from the
Godzilla.
from the skull of another monster. There's a dude sitting in a skull, and there's like wires everywhere, and he's got a PlayStation VR headset on, and he's controlling this mecha Godzilla. I'm not trying to be funny.
Like Pacific Rim. I mean, if they're gonna like merge it with Pacific Rim and then these damn movies, oh my god.
That's an idea, honestly. That's probably a better idea than
I think it's a terrible idea. I didn't care for Pacific Rim.
So I didn't see the movies, honestly. I know there's 2 of them. I've never seen.
That might be the worst series of all of them. Pacific Rim.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Damn.
One came out in 13, other one came out, I want to say in 18.
Yeah.
Never
like
watched
that.
it.
You're not missing out.
Pretty bad.
You're
I actually
good.
grew up in the first one in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
You know what is really good? That's Invincible on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
And I know Brittany and Frank, y'all haven't watched the series yet, but George is caught up on it. In fact, he got caught up last week. George, what do you think about? Yeah, what do you think about Invincible?
It's good, man. Like the first episode is the best episode. It's everything since then. It's been slowly like I feel like it's taken a while to like get to the point. Like what happened, and all this stuff. But the first episode definitely hooked me. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? It's a crazy show. It's definitely boys-esque. Like I can see that. It's definitely like that.
Yeah, I think the one hurdle that maybe Brittany and Frank and other people have is the fact that it's animated.
Yeah.
But just because and I'm not the biggest animated guy, but it's pretty cool. Pretty graphic violence. You know, the language is not for kids for sure. Like it's an adult themed show, and I mean the cast is amazing. There's that's many famous people that are
so crazy is the actors that they have playing some of these characters. It's people you know from everywhere.
Mm.
And like The Boys, it's a series on Amazon that drops like new episodes come out on Friday, but then oftentimes they come out Thursday night. So I like it because I can watch it Thursday night, and then I can watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier on Friday. So it works out. Works out pretty well. Okay, guys, the final thing we're talking about. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but this month is the 10-year anniversary of a little show called Game of Thrones. It's the Iron Anniversary, so I'm going to ask y'all, how are y'all going to celebrate the Iron Anniversary?
What show is that?
Only the biggest show ever, Game of Thrones.
This show?
Yeah, our show.
Well, that show was the reason why we started this show.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So we do have to kind of pay a little bit of respect to it, but not a
fuck
lot.
That show, bro. I don't care. I don't care. They ruined that show for me. But I'm glad we were able to make this show to shit on that show.
Yeah, I'm not celebrating whatsoever. I mean, I do have like actual Game of Thrones themed wine or alcohol or whatever, which I keep because it's pretty in the bottle. I might actually open it one day and drink it, but I'm not doing anything. And I do have like the collector's box set, that's just sit there for display, but I'm not doing anything.
Have any of you watched the show since the
a couple times?
Yeah, really?
Not the whole like the whole from start to finish. I mean, it's just kind of like sporadic episodes, just from different
Anybody
seasons.
else?
I'm actually watching season 7.
What's that?
I'm actually watching season 7.
Okay.
Before it got shitty. Okay.
I haven't rewatched it since season 8, but it's not because I don't want to. I'm going to watch it again eventually. It's just there's so much other stuff to watch, so much new stuff to watch that to me it's like if I jump into this, it takes away from other stuff. Yeah, I understand like how it ended. Obviously, no one liked it.
Well, some people did.
Most people did.
Some people who don't know any better.
Yeah, but most people were like, "Come on, man! Like that's how you're gonna end this show."
Yeah.
But the thing about the show, you got to respect the fact that it flew so high for so long. Like
it fucking crashed.
Yeah, it crashed. but like no show ever flew as high as Game of Thrones. You know, like it soared, out of to outer
Yeah.
space. Like it was basically going to Hollow Earth to save King Kong and Godzilla.
Thank God it didn't go to outer space. I probably would have lost my shit if it did.
Yeah. Also, by the way, the sirens are on my end because I'm wanted by the law.
Oh
So
man.
they're tracking me like Winter Soldier style. Frank, what do you
Privileges and
think about
then?
Game of Thrones, the 10-year anniversary? What's your thoughts?
I can't believe it's been 10 years. First off, that's crazy. I remember, I think I jumped in right at the end of season 3. I remember like it was yesterday. And for it to be 10 years later from the first episode is amazing. And to answer your question, to celebrate, I'm going to have relations with somebody's sister. Jamie and Cersei's
Oh my God.
character.
But not your sister.
No, not my sister. No.
Okay.
No. not my sister.
Good Lord.
I mean,
Whew.
no shade, but I wouldn't announce it on a very popular podcast like this one.
Oh, my
Oh
Lord.
I mean,
man.
Yeah.
Somebody else's sister that's not related to me.
Oh man.
God.
Stop walking around. Sorry,
That's a
my dog.
great way to end this show,
Yeah.
Justin.
That's right. But no, I do, and I haven't even done this myself, but I've heard that
You haven't had relations with your sister?
Oh my God.
I don't
Sorry.
have a.
I know you don't have a
sister.
sister.
Yeah.
I know.
No, what I was gonna say is, so HBO Max has a special section on the platform for the 10-year anniversary. I have not checked it out
Oh.
myself, so I don't know. Apparently, there's like curated lists of like, hey, if you're a beginner, here's like a get to know the characters, or if you want to watch the bloodiest episodes, or
Mm.
if you love dragons. I haven't checked it out, so I can't really say if it's cool or not. But I do like the fact that they're doing something.
If you
like
love
that.
inbreeding, here are the episodes to watch.
There could be like, I mean, why not?
Just saying,
That's
that's a thing for people.
It
from
is.
Arkansas. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was like. We're looking at you, Alabama.
roll Tide. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So-
man.
It's in Alabama.
Oh, man.
So, besides Arkansas and Alabama, Brittany, how can people from the other states find us on social media?
Oh man. Well, if they choose to follow us, because we are the greatest podcast that
Please do.
ever existed, please do follow us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on our show. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as YouTube. We do have a channel. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you're not into video podcasts, that's cool. We also, Luna wants to tell you that we're also on Spotify and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, thanks to anchor.fm, where they make it super easy for us to launch a podcast. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends, family, whatever relations you have. Frank, I'm talking to you. Also, just let us know what you want us to review in the future. You can use the hashtag Watchers Basement on Twitter to let us know.
Thank you, Brittany. So for Brittany, Frank, and George, this is Justin signing off, saying we will see you next week for episode 4 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. See ya.